In the Ukraine, tensions have escalated as fears are mounting in Eastern Europe that Russia will attack Ukraine. The minister made comments on the sidelines of the security summit in Munich, Germany. She also touched on the importance of the summit and the role of women in peace negotiations.
It's true that women are often excluded when we're in the post-conflict phase, and particularly during negotiations and in the process of transition to a new democracy. This is why DIRCO, the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, has mounted a training program for women on dialogue and negotiation as part of the Gertrude Schoppe Women in Dialogue series, where we train women from all over the continent and even from our own country to participate in leading negotiations to end conflict and in shaping new constitutional and other statutory instruments that are utilized as the process of transition begins. We also train women in political activism so that they can form organizations or become part of political organizations to ensure that once peace has been achieved, they can stand for elected office and campaign successfully. Because we do believe women must be included and should not be left on the margins. Well, everybody is talking Ukraine here in Munich, and we have, whenever questioned, have stressed South Africa's approach that we should always seek a diplomatic solution, we should always strive for a negotiated outcome, and shouldn't resort to arms. This is the message I've been conveying to all my colleagues who ask me, what's South Africa's opinion on Russia and Ukraine? What does South Africa say? And I really urge, don't stop talking. Draw the leaders together, draw the different parties together. Look for a way of addressing this seemingly imminent crisis and really reduce the tone of hostility that is in many of the statements that are being made. So we are hopeful that all the leaders involved will strive to work together to find a resolution that doesn't result in the breakout of armed conflict.
Is Africa better prepared for the next pandemic?
Well, we've learned a lot of lessons. I think we're working at greater preparedness, as you would know, at the African Union summit recently. We've agreed that we should provide significant funding to the African CDC, the Continental Disease Control Agency, which is our institution, which has done brilliantly in supporting us in responding to COVID-19. We've also got President Ramaphosa's Covid19 Commission, which has now tabled a number of recommendations which refer to the subject of preparedness and indicate what we need to do as Africa in order to ensure that in future we are far, far better prepared than we may have been when we had the first instance of COVID-19 in 2020. The recommendations speak to human resources, to financial support, to operationalizing the African Medicines Agency, and ensuring that we have the appropriate regulatory framework for all these institutions to work with greater efficiency. So I think if we act on the lessons that were learned from the leadership President Ramaphosa gave to the continent in drawing us together in a collective response, if we draw on those lessons, if we draw on this expert commission that President Ramaphosa and the African Union Commission established, and really fully act on the recommendations, I believe that we stand a very good chance of being far better prepared than we were in 2020. Much more still needs to be done. Our economies were hit very hard because we had to impose restrictions. Several countries had lockdowns. All of that had an impact. And now, more recently, the oil price has gone up and various energy sources have become extremely expensive. We're also finding goods are much more expensive because production stopped, and so you have a scarcity of goods, and that means the prices go up. Many people lost their businesses, so there are high levels of unemployment. We've argued that Africa needs liquidity in order to successfully begin the recovery process. We've also called on international financial institutions to free up money that they have as special drawing rights for countries that borrow from institutions such as the International Monetary Fund. And we're hoping that that swathe of money, which is a significant sum that lies within the IMF, that a significant proportion of it, at minimum $100 billion US, would be made available to low and middle income African countries to really give them that catalyst that will help them to begin a process of recovery.